Welcome to Derek Does. Today, we're gonna do this. Hi, welcome to another Derek Does. I'm Derek, and if you're new here, please subscribe. I'm sure you're gonna find at least this video pretty interesting that you clicked on it. And you can check out all my other cool videos too that are very similar in the scope of everything like this. But today, we're gonna be doing it on this. This is a vintage, early 50s Windward Montgomery Ward's motorcycle jacket. I just picked this up, happened to see it. It was actually on Facebook Marketplace. A guy had it and didn't really know what it was. Just said it was an old motorcycle jacket, but the more I looked at it, the more I thought, oh, that looks kind of interesting. So I contacted him, we talked, I got some more pictures, and I realized what it was. And I went out and got it, and it kind of fits me too. It's a little small, but it's a 42. I'm a 42. But again, this is a 1950s 42, so it's just, I probably could go with a 44 if I wanted to. We'll do a close-ups of all this. I'll show you all the features of it. The motorcycle jackets, I know people have asked me to do a video on the motorcycle jackets, because I've done it on other leather jackets, but it's just I never personally had a nice, cool, vintage 50s motorcycle jacket to show you, and today I do. Again, this is from Windward, and it's from Montgomery Ward. Now keep in mind, back in the day, and when I'm talking back in the day, I'm talking the 40s, 50s, 60s, everybody got their clothes for the most part through catalog, which is kind of like Amazon or anything like that today, but it was through a catalog. And the three big catalogs, which would be Sears, Montgomery Ward, and JCPenney, all started selling motorcycle jackets around that 1949 mark. It's kind of when they got introduced, and they sold them all the way up and through the 70s and such. Motorcycle jackets really came as a thing that you could go purchase and people were wearing back in that 1940s, late 40s, early 50s, up to the 60s era. And guys who had motorcycles liked it. And then also guys who liked the look of the motorcycle or thought, well, that could be a handy jacket for something that I'm doing that I may not be doing on a motorcycle, but it's a pretty cool jacket. I'll get one of those. Motorcycle jackets are pretty new back then. The motorcycle jacket really didn't get invented until 1928 from the Schott company for making the Perfecto. And they still make the Perfecto today. Obviously, it's not the same Perfecto as it was back in the day, but then really in the 40s, that's kind of when motorcycling, when everyone came back from the war, guys like speed because they're used to the airplanes and that sort of thing. And they like to just have fun. And motorcycles really came huge because of that time period. And then of course, the manufacturers said, hey, you know what? I bet we could sell jackets to these guys too. Now, before that, they had like cyclist jackets and things along that nature. Guys would still wear like a leather jacket when they're on their motorcycles, because motorcycles have been around, you know, for 40 years before the motorcycle jacket really, we know today, came out. And then like in the 60s and 70s, motorcycle jackets were worn by all the rock stars and that sort of thing. And so suddenly it became like a thing, you know, punk rockers and everything were wearing motorcycle jackets. Now, this particular one, again, is from Montgomery Ward, and it's called the Windward. Now, the Windward was a line of jackets that they made, all sorts of jackets during that time period. They made motorcycle, they made just outdoor jackets, they made work jackets, all sorts of jackets. But this particular one is a Windward. Now, I'll put it on and I'll show you. This one's a little special, I guess you might say, and I'll show you the why. But I'll put it on. It's a size 42, which is my size, and it's in really good shape. Now, the leather itself, I don't think has been touched with any sort of nourishment from the day it was bought. So I'm gonna be doing another video later on, and we're gonna restore this one back to being nice and pliable and just give it another 70 years of use. But I'll put it on for you. Thought I'd dress the part, you know, for the classic 50s motorcycle guy. But as you can see, it's, well, let me do a wide shot and you can see me wearing it. All right, so here it is. Again, this is a size 44. And I do know they, especially particularly back in those days, they made a long version. I probably could have gone with the long version just because if you watch on me in my other videos, you know I have longer arms than I guess what's standard. But it's a 42, I mean, and zips up. Don't want to hit the microphone, but zips up fine and even has a little built-in belt that you can belt if you want to. I'm not going to belt it right now. But here you can see. Again, this is a 50s version, so they're very short cropped. I think later, more in the 60s and 70s, they got a little longer. I think just because the people that would be riding motorcycles got a little longer too. But here you can see, move a couple of different ways. I mean, a motorcycle jacket is always a smart jacket, always looks great. It's just a tough looking jacket. This is a 1950s era, early 50s, maybe 52, 55 in that range, of a Windward motorcycle jacket from Montgomery Ward. All right, so here it is. As you can see, it's real wear. This particular jacket, even though it is a Montgomery Ward model, you can see that it has the police, I don't know what the officially name of that would be, to put your badge on it. This was never issued to a motorcycle police officer. Whoever had this jacket way back in the 50s, they just decided to take their own jacket, or maybe they were told just to buy a jacket, and then they would sew on the adapter for a police badge. And you can even see just how kind of crudely this was done. Obviously, this was not factory. Look how the gap there to there, and it's just sewn directly through this pocket onto that. So this was actually a police motorcycle cop jacket at one time, but it really is just a 1950s Montgomery Ward jacket. You have a little pocket here. Sometimes these would be called a D pocket. This one isn't really a D pocket because a D pocket is actually shaped like a D, but inside it actually has the original, I don't know if we can get to it, the original tag. It's kind of fragile, but does say 42 there. Try not to touch it. You have a pocket here, and it does work. This would be for your smokes or whatever you want to put in there. Kind of similar to a sleeve pocket like on a flight jacket. You have two, I won't really call them hand warmer pockets, but they are. They're really tough to get your hands into because they're pretty high up, but they are zippered. They're missing the pulls on the zipper, as you can see there, and on this side, the same thing. But it is lined with like a cotton, or maybe even a wool. I think it's probably just cotton though. And then on the sleeves, you have two zippers. Both these zippers are unmarked. Usually they're Talon or they're Comars or something like that, but these are unmarked. If you know what zippers these are, let me know. Put that in the comment. And that way you could put it on, zip it up, and then you have a tight area there to keep the wind out from coming in through your sleeves. The zipper itself is a lovely old Talon. If we can get there, here you can see. I think it's double marked. That's original to the jacket and works fine. It's actually at a bit of an angle, as you can see. It goes up this way. A lot of motorcycle jackets were like that. They're not a straight up and down zipper, they're slightly angled. Sometimes they're even more, they're like a crazy line like that. And this one has the same zipper there on the sleeve. And those both work. And if you notice, the wear isn't bad. It's dirty, sure, but a lot of times this area on old jackets, especially on quilted ones, is just torn to shreds. But this one's actually really nice. You have a belt here, and that's an original. Even has a little, like a little T there, which I think is probably for Talon, who probably made that. You have snaps here. These both snap here and here, so you can open this up, and when you zip it all the way, it can go all the way together like that too. You can see the tag. Now, the tag's kind of tough to read, but I'll show you a picture of what the tag should look like on a jacket that wasn't all worn out. This one's actually Horsehide, and you can actually still see it here. Montgomery Ward's made two versions of this jacket back in like 52, in that range. They made a steerhide one and a horsehide one, and the horsehide cost an extra $5 more. So this was the top of the line model back then. And it even came with and I'll show you in a minute, it came with a fur collar that snaps in. There's hidden snaps underneath this that you can snap your fur collar on. This one obviously doesn't have it. And you can see it's horsehide really with the graining here. Really nice stuff. Now it does have like a bit of a kidney belt here on the back. And the belt's kind of I guess it's a half belt with the straps here because it doesn't go all the way across like some jackets. So the belt's actually sewn in, which is nice. That way you don't lose the belt. A lot of times the belts that slide in, you'll find the jacket, but the belts have been used as a regular belt or they get lost somewhere along the line. It does have a bi-swing on the back to give you a little bit more room. And again, this is a good too for, and I'll do videos of the before and after when I go ahead and take care of the leather, because that's going to be a job. You can see the patina's really nice, but it's not bad at all. Now on the inside is this red quilted nylon lining, and they even say that in here, and again, you can't read it, but it does say nylon thread and nylon lining. So that was a plus at the time. There is no pockets on the inside, but it's just a great jacket. Now again, if you're looking for one, now just be careful, like when you look for like in the 80s jackets or even the late 70s, a lot of them are made in Korea or they're made in Pakistan. Originally they were made in Korea, and then for some reason it all went to Pakistan and everything. You can still get an okay jacket, but it's not going to be this. It's not going to be an original vintage 50s jacket. It's going to be a jacket that looks like that. Now these are also sometimes called by the star, and this one's actually a 2-star, and these actually had 2 clip stars on it. You can still see the remembrance of where they were. You can see the star. So I had a star here and here, and also a star here and here. And you can still see the holes from where those would have been applied here and there. So originally this would have had 2 stars just to give it kind of like a tough, almost a military look in a way. But they had those on the epaulets at the top there. Now, there's a lot of brands you can look for. Again, there's the Montgomery Ward, there's the Sears Hercules, there's the JCPenney, I forget what their brand was, but then there's also the Schott, there's Beck, there's Buco, and then there's like Lewis Brothers. There's a whole bunch of, and you can buy really nice custom made ones today through all the manufacturers kind of have their own motorcycle line. So if you want this look and you want it kind of built like it was built back in the day, maybe go with a custom one, because you can get pretty much what you want. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Derek Does on the vintage motorcycle jacket. Stay tuned because later I'm going to be having a jacket where I'm going to be restoring this jacket, getting all the oils back into it, and doing any repairs that maybe I missed that maybe I can take care of, that sort of thing, just to get this jacket back into nice and smooth leather condition and give it another 50 years. So hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next Derek Does. Thanks for watching.